All right. Animal Embryo Transfer Technician Interviews.
Yeah.
That's what we're tackling in this deep dive. It's a pretty cool field, right?
Oh, absolutely. Blending a love for animals with, fascinating science. We're talking about those tiny embryos, specialized lab techniques, the potential to make a real impact, on entire herds or even species.
Exactly. And I bet you're excited to get started, but, interviews can be a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here, to kind of break down those common questions, give you that boost of confidence so you can really shine.
We're going to tackle those questions you're most likely to face. And I'm going to offer some insights into what a successful career in this field actually looks like.
Okay, so let's set the scene. You're sitting across from the interviewer, and they hit you with this. Can you describe your experience with animal handling and care? Now, it might sound like a simple icebreaker, right? But it's actually a golden opportunity to showcase your passion and your understanding of animal behavior.
It really is. It's about going beyond just listing your past experiences, and actually highlighting your genuine care for animals. The interviewer is not just looking for someone who can follow instructions.
Right.
They're looking for someone who gets it, who understands the nuances of animal behavior, their physiology, their needs.
I love that.
So think back to those moments when you really connected with an animal, maybe even calmed a distressed one, or you handled a tricky procedure, but with care. Those are the stories that'll stick with them.
That's such a good point, because it's the little details that make your experience come alive.
Yeah.
Now, I'm willing to bet they're going to throw in some follow-up questions,
Yeah.
like, tell me about a time an animal was distressed and how you calmed it down, or what's your experience with, and then they'll insert a specific animal species that's relevant to that job.
Absolutely. They want to see if you've thought about these scenarios, and if you can apply your knowledge on the spot, that's where preparation is key. Like if the job description really emphasizes working with, say, cattle, you got to have a compelling story ready to showcase your expertise with, that specific species.
And I've heard the RoleCatcher's AI can actually help with that kind of prep.
Oh, it's a fantastic tool for tailoring those responses. It analyzes the job description, identifies keywords, specific skills the employer's really looking for, so you can really fine-tune your answers to directly address their needs and expectations.
That's super cool. All right, moving on to another question. How do you ensure the safety and well-being of animals during the embryo transfer process? This goes beyond just technical skills. We're getting into the ethics of animal care.
It does, yeah. The interviewer is gauging your understanding of all those safety protocols, but they want to see you prioritize animal welfare in every single step. It's also super important to be familiar with, national legislation and guidelines related to animal welfare, embryo transfer procedures. Demonstrating that knowledge shows you're really committed to responsible and ethical practices.
Okay, so how can someone structure their response to really showcase all of that?
The STAR method. Classic for a reason.
Okay.
Situation, task, action, and result.
Okay.
Helps you craft a clear, concise narrative. Interviewers love that. So imagine you're describing a time when you noticed a potential risk during a procedure. You outline the situation, explain your specific task, detail the actions you took to actually mitigate that risk.
Yeah.
And then you describe the positive outcome, because of your quick thinking and care.
That is such a good structure to keep in mind. And I think, again, a RoleCatcher's AI can really come in handy here.
Absolutely. It can analyze the specific job description, see what safety concerns might be most important to that employer. Like, say they work with a lot of large animals. Well, you can tailor your STAR story to really feature your experience handling, those animals safely during embryo transfer.
Okay, so we've covered animal handling, safety, ethics, and that's all in like the first few minutes in this interview. Feeling good? Let's keep it going. Questions 3 and 4 often kind of go hand in hand. How do you maintain accurate records and documentation of the embryo transfer process? And how do you troubleshoot issues that arise during the embryo transfer process? So this is all about showing how meticulous you are and your problem-solving skills, which are critical in any scientific field.
Absolutely. And especially this one. When you're talking about record keeping, emphasize your attention to detail, organizational skills, and your ability to follow protocols precisely.
Got it.
Employers want to know that you're reliable, accurate, especially with sensitive data in these procedures.
Makes sense. And then for the troubleshooting question, this is where you get to show off your critical thinking skills.
Absolutely. Think about a time when you encountered a problem during an embryo transfer or just a lab procedure. how did you approach that issue? What steps did you take to, identify the problem, find a solution? Did you consult resources, collaborate with your colleagues, come up with a creative workaround? Sharing a specific example will make your answer much more engaging and demonstrate your ability to think on your feet. It's also a great chance to, show off your knowledge of all those reproductive technologies, like mentioning any relevant coursework, workshops, conferences you've been to. That shows commitment to staying updated in a field that's, constantly evolving.
It does. It's like you're saying, hey, I'm not just here for a job. I'm passionate about this whole field.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's keep moving. Questions 5, 6, and 7 really dive into those specialized skills, the ones that make you stand out. You'll probably get asked about your experience with specific animal species. And again, tailoring your answers to the job description. Super crucial.
Oh, definitely. Like if they're looking for someone with experience in bovine embryo transfer, you want to highlight your skills and knowledge in that specific area.
Right.
Mention any specific procedures, techniques, maybe even challenges you faced, and how you overcame them while working with, cattle.
I love that. Don't forget about those cool lab techniques. They might ask you about cryopreservation, which, if you're not familiar, is basically freezing and storing embryos.
Exactly. You can give a quick explanation of the process, mention the different cryoprotectants used, and the importance of really careful handling, to maintain that embryo viability.
Then there's a question of your familiarity with other reproductive technologies beyond embryo transfer, so like IVF or artificial insemination.
And this is where you can demonstrate that you've got, a broader understanding of reproductive science. You can mention any experience you have with those technologies, or even discuss any recent advancements that you've been following in the field. Shows you're curious, keeping up with the latest developments.
Right. It's not just what you know, but how you present it and connect it back to that job.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk soft skills. Question 8 usually explores your experience working in a team environment. So they might ask, describe your experience working on a team and how you contribute to the success of that team. But instead of giving a generic answer about being a team player,
Right.
go a little deeper.
All right.
Analyze the team dynamics. Described in the job posting, if they have it, of course. Do they emphasize collaboration, communication, or, a specific leadership style? You want to tailor your response to really show how your teamwork style matches their needs.
Absolutely. Like if the job posting mentions a fast-paced environment where you need strong communication skills, share an example of how you communicated effectively with your team, maybe during a super challenging embryo transfer procedure.
That's a great example. Okay, so now for the question that I think everyone kind of dreads, the difficult situation question, which usually sounds like, tell me about a time you face a difficult situation at work and how you handled it.
Right.
But remember, this isn't about being negative. It's your chance to showcase those problem-solving skills, your resilience, your ability to learn from those challenges. Choose a story, an anecdote that highlights your strengths in those areas.
For sure. Structure is key here.
Okay.
Describe the situation, the challenges you faced, the specific actions you took to address that problem, and the positive outcome you achieved. And don't forget to focus on the lessons you learned from that experience. It shows growth and self-awareness.
That's a really good point. Shows you're not afraid to tackle challenges and that you're always trying to improve.
Exactly.
And speaking of improvement, I think RoleCatcher has something for this too.
Yeah, they do. Their AI-powered interview practice feature is incredible. You can actually practice answering that question out loud. And the AI is going to analyze your response, give you feedback on your clarity, your tone, even your body language.
That's really cool. It's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
All
right, let's get to the last question in this set, which honestly might be the most important one. Can you describe your understanding of the ethical considerations involved in animal embryo transfer procedures? This is where we really get into the heart of it. Responsible animal care, scientific ethics.
Yeah. You want to show that you genuinely care about animal welfare and that you have a thoughtful awareness of the ethical, complexities of this field.
So it's not just about those procedures.
Yeah.
It's about the bigger picture.
Exactly. You might want to mention the importance of minimizing stress on the animals, ensuring they're handled properly, adhering to, strict hygiene protocols. You could even talk about the importance of transparency and informed consent when you're working with animal owners or breeders.
And I imagine staying updated on national legislation, guidelines related to animal welfare is huge, too.
Oh, absolutely. Mentioning those specific laws or regulations really shows that you are committed to ethical and legal practices.
Wow. We've covered so much.
We have.
From animal handling, safety, to troubleshooting, and ethical considerations. You've got a really solid foundation for those interview questions. But an interview isn't just about answering questions perfectly, right? It's about showing that genuine enthusiasm for the field and what you can bring to the table.
It is. You're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you.
Right.
It's your chance to learn about like the position, the company culture, see if it's the right fit.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So ask some thoughtful questions about their research programs, their commitment to animal welfare, even the opportunities for professional development.
Yeah, your questions can show your curiosity, your initiative, and your genuine interest in that role.
Okay. So let's say you nailed it. Aced that interview, landed the job, congrats. Now what? What could you expect as you start your career as an animal embryo transfer technician?
Well, the cool thing about this field is there are tons of paths you can take.
Okay.
You might start as an assistant technician, learn the ropes from the pros. Then as you get that experience, you can move up to a junior technician role, more responsibility, maybe specialize in a specific area.
So it sounds like there's a lot of room to grow and specialize. What are some of those career paths? What do people usually do?
Some technicians focus on the in vivo procedures, working with animals directly, in the field or on farms. Others might specialize in like in vitro techniques, spend more time in the lab perfecting those embryo culture and manipulation methods.
And what about leadership roles?
Of course, as you gain experience, you become an expert. You could become like a senior technician, leading a team, managing those complex procedures. You could even be a lab supervisor, overseeing the whole embryo transfer operation, mentoring junior staff.
That's amazing. So there's a real chance to make an impact.
Definitely.
And for those who love research, there's always the option of getting those advanced degrees, contributing to cutting-edge studies, reproductive technologies, animal genetics, all that.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a dream job for someone who loves science and animals. But even if research isn't your thing, you've got to keep learning in this field. It's changing so fast.
Oh, it's constant. Staying up to date on, all those new techniques, the technologies, ethical considerations, it's crucial.
So how can someone really stay ahead of the curve? Any advice for those who are just eager to keep learning?
Lots of ways. Attending conferences, workshops, seminars. It's a fantastic way to connect with other professionals, learn from the experts, stay informed on those new trends.
And those are probably great for networking too.
Oh, yeah. Building those relationships can lead to new opportunities and cool collaborations. Don't forget about online resources. There are tons of online forums, discussions groups, even virtual courses, all about reproductive technologies and animal science.
It's amazing how technology can connect people and build those communities,
Yeah.
even in these specialized fields.
It really is. And speaking of technology, RoleCatcher is a great tool for managing your professional development.
Oh, yeah.
Their platform lets you track your progress, organize your certifications, even make a digital portfolio to show off all you've accomplished.
Wow. So RoleCatcher really seems to have everything for those aspiring animal embryo transfer technicians. I think we've covered just about everything you need to know to really rock that interview and have a successful career in this exciting field.
I think we did pretty good. We talked about those common interview questions, strategies for your responses. We even got into potential career paths and how to keep developing professionally.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a little something to think about. This field is advancing so quickly. New technologies are popping up all the time. So what ethical considerations are going to become even more important for animal embryo transfer technicians to navigate? That's something to keep in mind as you move forward.
That's a great point. The decisions made today are going to shape this field. Staying informed, participating in discussions, advocating for those responsible practices, that's all going to be crucial.
We know you're going to make incredible contributions to this field. So go get them, ace those interviews, and embrace the journey. Best of luck.